Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan,
I'm Michael.
and for this episode we have a special returning guest. It's Elle.
Hello there.
Welcome back. What movie have you brought to us that's hopefully not as fucked as that thing where mushrooms did blackface?
Depending on your point of view, maybe. For this episode, I brought you The Gift of Jack.
I'd never actually seen this before. What's your sort of connection with this?
So I saw it on release in cinemas. I say cinemas because the cinema that I viewed it in had maybe 6 seats, if that was lucky.
Oh.
It was like a very small regional thing.
Should we just go to someone's house?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
someone's
you
living
went
room
to
with
someone's house.
some chairs and a pirate DVD.
I think it was like a converted theater, but they hadn't bothered to do the entire thing. So they still
Okay.
they still had most of the theater and then a
Right.
cinema to the side.
All right.
I remember it because I lost a tooth to a Mars bar, which is I know a very weird sort of association, but yeah.
No.
Did someone throw one at you? Or?
No, it was stronger than my tooth at the time.
Oh. Oh yeah, I suppose this was like 96, so child's tooth. It's not a.
Yeah, despite what I often say, because I feel a lot older than I am. 96, I would have been in year 5, I think, at school.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Which I think it follows about the same, England and Australia, same thing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think.
But yeah, so it's middle of summer, basically, down on the south coast of New South Wales, crammed into this tiny little movie theatre, because they didn't call it a cinema. And yeah, I remember watching this and thinking, oh yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, what do you think on the rewatch?
Differently.
Yeah, this film's bizarre.
I remember the bar fight out of everything else.
Yeah.
Which is that is a weird thing. Yeah, so it's just weird the little bits of memory that happen when there's an entire rest of the movie that is happening as well. Because I can more easily picture the cereal that we had to get in specially for our vacation at the time than this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame you though after watching the movie. To be fair.
And also, yes, fair enough.
Yeah. So going into this, I was like, ooh, a movie where Robin Williams is playing a 10-year-old boy. That sounds pretty interesting. I was expecting like a Billy Madison sort of thing where it's like, about an hour and a half of just wacky fun with Robin Williams. And instead I got the directed by the guy who did The Godfather sad movie.
Yeah, it's a Francis Ford Coppola film, and it makes sense about halfway through.
Yeah.
You go, oh.
This was not what I was expecting at all.
And this is off the back of like Aladdin and everything, when Robin Williams was starting to be more of a star.
Yeah.
In mainstream.
And he wasn't because Robin Williams was a serious, he was a comedian, but he was also like a kind of serious actor. And then he was in more kid stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think I read that it was after they sort of repaired their relationships because they used him a lot to promote Aladdin, and when they sorted it out, he was like, okay, I'll star in this movie, but I want Francis Ford Coppola to direct it.
Great. Amazing.
I actually heard a bit of a different take on that. It's because of touring and things with Aladdin, he was guaranteed to get the next role basically that came up.
Yeah.
And who was it? There was someone else that was in the running for it.
Oh, John Travolta.
Yeah, so we could have had John Travolta as a 10-year-old kid.
Wildly different film.
Yeah, that would have been... I mean, there were some funny parts in this, at least. I imagine it would have been not funny, really, with John Travolta in it.
I also can't imagine he could have done the, deep existential crisis bit as well.
Yeah, probably not. Robin Williams does unfortunately have sad energy.
He does. He has sad comedian. He had sad comedian energy. That
Yeah.
made sense.
There it is. An apology deal over royalties from Aladdin.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
a
was
weird-
basically the deal. It's like, yeah, we might have screwed you out of some good money. Be in this film instead.
Being this Francis Ford
We
Coppola
promise
film.
it'll be as successful as Aladdin.
Yeah.
The movie where you are Aladdin in a man's body.
To be fair, I think any film, if you're given the opportunity, I think any actor given the opportunity to work with Francis Ford Coppola at that point would have said yes,
Oh, for sure.
because
Yeah.
it's just one of like the big directors. But my
It's like,
God,
even like a potential stinker, which, not to say any spoilers, it's like, yeah, you just get your name out there. It's about
Yeah.
building a portfolio.
I want to know why this film, because this film isn't good. First of all, this film isn't good. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah, I didn't really
Yeah,
enjoy this too much.
Yeah, I think so.
Mind-numbingly boring. But why is it boring? Why is it bad? Is it Francis Ford Coppola trying to do The Godfather but with a child?
I think it's because what you're expecting from a movie like this is like a movie with the hijinks section, which we tend to get a lot on this
The
show.
shenanigan bit in the middle.
You get that for about 10 minutes,
It
which
felt
is
like a
like
lot
when
longer.
he becomes friends with all the kids in school, and then unfortunately invites Bill Cosby to a treehouse full of
Can we-
children.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
not good. Not good at all.
Right. I didn't know anything about this film, and I was number one surprised that Robin Williams was in it. Didn't know he was in it. I was also surprised that J-Lo was in it. That was the
Yep, J-Lo,
surprise.
yeah.
biggest surprise was Bill Cosby.
Yeah, big
It
oof.
did make it very awkward in hindsight, the scene where they're having a tickle fight.
Yeah, very,
Like,
very much so.
As long as you don't take any of his drinks, you're fine.
Yeah, he just gets given them.
Yeah, he gets given the everything pie or whatever the fuck it is they make. But yeah, I think that's the thing with this is like it's a much more serious movie than I was
premise?
anticipating for sure. Like the premise of it and that is like, it seems funny of, oh yeah, he's he's a 10-year-old boy but he's in a man's body. I'm like, oh, that sounds funny. And then from the get-go it's like he has a horrific aging thing and he ages 4 times faster than anyone else and he's not going to have a long life at all and he's, he doesn't fit in with anyone. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that, it's deep, but it just not
Well,
what I expected from it.
It's like if someone heard the premise of it's a boy but in a man's body, and they went, okay, what caused that problem?
Yeah.
Why is that a problem? I go, I guess it's a medical thing. So is he aging? Is he going to die sooner than other people? Like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose
So-
he is.
I guess a bit of movie trivia then. When did Big come out?
Oh, that was 88, I think, because that was, Tom Hanks. Yeah, that's definitely a bit earlier. Let me
Yeah,
just
so
check.
the idea of child in man body is out there in the public consciousness at this point.
Yeah. Someone just went, this isn't logical enough.
Yeah, 1988, that one. When was Billy Madison? That was probably 2000. Oh, no, that was 95. That was the year before this as well.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
imagine-
think I've properly seen that, but, that's Adam Sandler as a... Oh, no, that isn't that he's a child. That is just that he acts like a child. Okay, never mind.
I was just thinking it's like just the production team on like racing to get to the cinemas first.
Yeah.
Yeah. it was an ants and a Bug's Life all over
Looks like,
again.
yeah. Turns out they had a guy that worked there and he left.
Oh man, this film. So we should explain the premise because I imagine most people haven't seen this.
Yeah. It starts as like I knew it was gonna be a bit weirder than I thought when it starts at a Halloween party and one of the costumes is some weird fucked up pig with real human tits.
Yep.
I'm like, hang on. This is,
Yeah, that was a bizarre opening.
that
So
is odd. Yeah.
I figured that your first clue that was that it might be a bit weird is that I suggested it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
good
true.
point. Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, I
Well,
do
no,
have a
I looked at
reputation
them.
at this point.
I mean, you suggested it, and I looked through, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a bit better than the other one you suggested," which, yeah, probably wouldn't make great content. But I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks fun. That looks like an actual kids movie with Robin Williams in it." I should have known.
You should have looked at the director.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids love Patch Adams. That's probably fine.
Exactly. Yeah, so it starts with like, this girl, and she's at a Halloween party, and everyone's just calling her fat the whole time. And then it
Not
turns
everyone, two particular girls.
Yeah,
Who
but then
are
it
dressed
turns
as
out
cats.
that she's
Because
she's
they're
pregnant.
being very catty.
Yeah, she's pregnant, but she's only been pregnant for 2 months, and she starts to like, give birth, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, what's going on? This is too soon." And then she gives birth to just a full-on child, and it spends the intro credits being monitored by a futuristic robot doctor.
That took a lot longer than I remember, and more than it should have. that intro scene.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just like measuring the baby and shit. But yeah, they do a bunch of science, and they're like, "Oh, his cells are dividing and aging 4 times faster than normal. So, at 10 years old, he's going to look like a 40-year-old man." And then lo and behold, it's 10 years later.
How coincidental.
And then
And then
I got a bunch
this is the point where I'm like,
kids.
"Oh no, that's Bill Cosby," because he's he's homeschooled, because they're like, he looks like a 40-year-old man. We can't send him to a normal school.
It'd be weird if he went to school.
Yeah. There's some like kids that are actually spying on him as well, because they're like, "Oh, that's where that freak lives that looks like an old man."
I heard
Yeah.
he's like really hairy. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it
The
is Robin
amount of-
Williams.
Yeah,
Just
the amount
bullying
of
Robin
jokes
Williams at
about
that
it.
point. This film bullies Robin Williams a little bit.
Just a bit. Like,
'Cause that's just what
how
he
can we
looks like.
really hammer home
That's just
that
what.
this man is fucking hairy?
I could also see like Robin Williams getting the script and going, "Oh no, let's add this."
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, the teacher kind of suggests that he should go to public school, because it's like he's learning things, but he doesn't really have any social skills or anything. So he goes to school, and his teacher is J-Lo.
He goes from Bill Cosby to J-Lo.
Yeah.
I mean, given the choice, wouldn't you?
No, it's a step up. It's a step in the right direction. But yeah, all the kids are just kind of mean to him. He's just a kid. It is really strange, and made the whole film made me uncomfortable watching a grown man act like a 10-year-old. I don't
Yeah,
know
especially when it's
why.
like serious, sad 10-year-old and not wacky, fun 10-year-old.
right. Like the
Yeah.
tone of this film is so strange, but it makes watching it really uncomfortable.
Mm.
And the music's like constantly trying to convince you that this is a happy kids film. Like it's not.
No,
Yeah.
it's just got the most stereotypical 90s kids bullying each other scene as well.
I love it.
And yeah, just again, in like hindsight, it's like, oh boy, this is a weird watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so strange. And I don't know if, like, as a kid, I'd be alright with it.
Yeah, I feel like watching it at the age of 10, you would be too young to have that existential crisis of
Yeah.
what if I grew old faster?
Yeah, I can't remember what I was thinking of like when I was watching it as a kid, because it's like I think I was probably more focused on how small the cinema was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be as well.
Maybe
I-
there were
and I mean-
8 seats.
It must be small if, like, as a child, you also see it as small, because normally as a kid, you remember things being much bigger than they are as well.
Mhm.
I'd fully be wondering how they kept it open. How are they affording to play these films to 8 people at a time?
I mean, it's Australia, so we also probably got it like 3 years late anyway.
True. It was a theatre that small. It was probably pirated. I
That
say
would
that as
explain
someone that comes
things.
from a small town that had a cinema, and the films were probably pirated. Because
Yeah, I remember, like, going to a small cinema back in Coventry as well, and there were 2 occasions where it was only me and my brother in there.
Yep. It's the best thing though when you go to a big cinema and you're the only person there.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, or even if you just go and it's like you and a friend, it's like, oh, we have the run of the place. Let's just MST3K the shit out of this.
You can sit wherever you want. Oh, this film's so strange because most of this film is made up of him making friends, and like it's a
Yeah.
normal kids film for a bit.
And he makes friends because he gets chosen to play basketball with them, and they only win because he is a grown man.
Yeah.
He is tall. So,
Yeah, big.
yeah. That's the premise of the movie. He big.
He tall, He-Man, He-Man, but also boy.
He-Man, not the masters of the universe, though.
Barely a master of shaving.
Yeah.
Right. His
Yeah.
parents are. His dad's. They're strange. The way this film's made, it's so. I don't know. I don't know this film. It's so weird. It hurt my brain. It's fully like
It's hard to try and talk and describe what's
broken
going
my
on because
brain.
it's like the parents have kind of come to terms with it.
Yeah,
But
she's
they
like
have to spend their whole life looking after him.
yeah.
And
And,
so
like-
I just wonder, it's like, what do they do for work? Like, we see the dad is like a photographer. It's
Yeah.
like, does the mum work? And
She probably has to be a full-time carer or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's only just kind of hit me that like it was basically a teen pregnancy as well. So at this point, the son is older than they are, like
Yeah.
physically.
oh,
Which, yeah,
I just remembered the scene where he has a nightmare.
yeah, and then he like climbs into his parents' bed, and it's just weird. But yeah, there's a kid called Louis that he becomes friends with, and they pretend that Jack is the principal for the most annoying mum in any movie.
I mean, to be fair, played by Fran Drescher, it's going to be
Yeah.
a hard bar to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretends to be the principal to get Louis off, out of trouble.
I was going to say phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have the weird flirting sequences, and it's really, really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack goes to the friend's tree house, but it's only made for kids, and it keeps creaking when he's there. He also helps them, but one of the main plot points in this is he helps them buy porn mags
Yeah,
because he looks like an old man.
yeah, they wouldn't ID him.
Yeah, the parents are happy because they have the house to themselves for a bit for once, because it's the first time he's actually been out and he's farting in a can or something.
I don't think that treehouse is 100% OSHA compliant, but especially not when they start fires out of farts.
Oh no.
I think
And
they
they
mentioned
make
it was rated for 150 pounds.
Yeah, definitely not rated for a bunch of children and
Adult.
Robin Williams and
And
then
then-
Bill Cosby and then
Yeah.
a butterfly.
During that,
These days, that's like 2 kids, 2-3
Yeah.
kids at most.
yeah,
Adults, God no.
during that montage sequence where it's them did the shenanigans sequence, and it has Bill Cosby in there. It's really strange
It's so awkward.
because he's getting them to sing us. I don't know why it feels so. Well, I know why it feels so fucking weird, but I feel like
almost
it'd
a
feel weird
cult.
anyway.
Like, it has cult vibes, that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like, to be our friend, you have to eat this weird mixture of everything, including toothpaste, ketchup, worms,
yeah.
just spaghetti, everything, and it is disgusting.
Now, children
Yeah.
are going to teach you a song. It's like, ooh.
Yeah,
And
and just
if they get it wrong, he's irrationally angry about it.
Hmm.
It felt odd.
yeah, and then the treehouse collapses because it is full of too many people.
Yep.
And a butterfly lands on it.
But because it's a kids' film, they're all safe and it's fine.
Yeah,
and-
even though it seems to be falling for so long.
And I know that someone had to argue with Francis Ford Coppola about that because
Hmm.
he was he wanted one of them to be seriously injured.
Impaled.
They were like, you can't do that. This is
It's
still a kids'
literally
film.
It's literally the Aristocats scene where the apartment's falling down.
Yeah.
It just folds in on itself over and over.
Yeah, but they're all fine and continue singing. And thank God he's no longer near those kids again.
Yeah. Then Jack is asking Miss Marquez to go to the dance with him, and she's like, "Just because I look your age doesn't mean I am. I can't." And then, he does he fall down the stairs or pass out or something?
He has what
He
looks
sort
like a
of
heart attack.
has a bit of a heart attack as he's running and to go down the stairs.
Yeah.
He gets injured.
But yeah,
And then
he has a crush on the teacher because she was nice to him, as
Yeah.
that is their teacher's job, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides, the teaching.
yeah,
Yes.
of
But
course.
he's also a child with probably abandonment issues and not abandonment issues, like attachment issues.
Yeah, he spent his entire life with his parents so far. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna struggle.
And this is close to I guess maybe the third grown-up female that he's interacted with in his life, besides his mum and Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
So yeah, of course that's what's going to happen, because kids are weird.
and then they're like, "Oh, he should get homeschooled again. It's not safe for him to be out." And so he sneaks out and goes to the bar where Fran Drescher told him to go to.
That's also because he's working at, because they're in class. I think that scene starts with the classroom scene. It starts with one of them talking about where they'll be in 10 years and like what they want to be, and he's like,
He's like,
doing
I
the
wanna
math.
Be alive. Yeah,
He's gonna do the math, and he just gets real. And like, yeah, he has the existential crisis of, I'm gonna die soon.
yeah. Like, in another 10 years he'll be 80 years old, and chances are that's gonna be it.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's
My
like someone's like,
main takeaway from that scene was like, man, he's so much better at maths than I am.
why?
God damn
10
it.
years old? I'd have been like, I'll be fine for another like 50 years. Like, no.
Yeah, but it just gets sad, and then he runs away to a bar. He's like getting drunk with some guy, and then the mum gets here, and then he ends up like getting into a fight with someone as well. But he's like just using all like the sort of childish insults and that he's learnt from his school friends.
Yeah.
Because again, 10-year-old kid, technically,
Exactly.
despite all the erectile dysfunction jokes. Because that's basically what they talk about, the guy at the bar and him. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, that ever happened to you? Oh, yeah, tons of times. Oh, man, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
that is weird to mention, but I guess they wouldn't know.
Yeah. The whole thing's weird, and then he gets arrested.
Yeah.
And Lewis's mum like breaks him out of jail.
No, she pays for him
She
to
pays his bail.
think she can break him out. That would have been a very different film.
It becomes a heist.
I liked the scene of him. This was one of the funny bits of the film where it's like it's not existential nightmare. When he's leaving and he's like, can I have my stuff back?" And he puts
and it's just like
a couple of things on the table. He's like, "Can I have my pog?"
Yeah.
It was the slammer, so it's a good one.
Yeah. It's the fact that the police officer pocketed it.
Yeah.
It's like, gonna keep it. Like, why would he? I love that. That was good. That was a solid joke.
That bit was fun.
Just trying to remember exactly. It was a Pez dispenser, a Spider-Man watch. There was a couple of other things, and then the Pog.
Can I have my pog? Great joke. And Fran Drescher, Louis' mum picks him up. And it's strange again. Every scene with her is strange.
Yeah, because she just thinks he's a man, and she's just hitting on him the whole time.
Yeah, it's not like this film is so like this isn't technically a problem because like she has no idea what's going on. She thinks everything's just normal. She just thinks he's a bit weird. But it's so strange to watch.
Yeah,
I feel like she shouldn't be doing that.
Because it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like another thing that stood out to me, I don't know if you guys picked up on it as well, but it's like she's divorced and struggling to work like multiple jobs for her own kid. How did she afford bail?
Yeah, I don't know how much it would have been.
I mean, that's just a point that stands out in my head. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
and it's like
because I was expecting it to be his actual parents or something, but they don't notice that he went out at all. Because I suppose that's not something they would expect. They're not used to him leaving the house.
Well, because they brought up the idea of him having to stay home instead of going to school, and he got upset and sort of ran off. So they're just kind of dealing with it like parents do, where they're just like, "Oh shit, it's our fault."
Yeah.
Well,
and then you get a whole montage of his friends constantly coming around asking if he can come out to play.
That was
he's sad.
Really sweet because he didn't want to go back to the school because he'll die quicker, and and like he just kind of doesn't want to socialize. And yeah, all of his friends are like, all of the kids at school, not just his friends, like every kid in that class.
Yeah, they just keep on coming up asking if he can come out to play.
And that was really sweet. Like, that
Yeah.
was a genuinely really nice scene.
And not even just his class, because the two girls that like sort of bully him are 2 years younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're in a different class altogether.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
But yeah, just, can Jack come out and play? Oh, Mrs. Jack's mom. Hello.
Yeah.
yeah,
And like every now and like this film isn't good, but it has really sweet heart to it. It has like really, because it's like the guy that made Godfather and the guy that makes all of these like kind of deep emotional films as well. The deep emotional bits are really good and they do hit right.
yeah,
It's just very strange the sort of packaging that they're in.
yeah. It's just everything else.
Like the conversation between Bill Cosby's teacher character and Jack, when Jack's like having the existential crisis and he's like, I don't want to burn bright, I want to just burn regular.
yeah,
And that conversation of like, you'll never be regular, and that's a good thing. And like, I teach, like the Bill Cosby character's like, I teach kids because it helps me remember that there's more than just being an adult, and to enjoy the small things, the childish things. And like, that's a really nice, really well written sequence and speech. And then like you kind of get the realization that it's Bill Cosby saying it.
yeah.
And you're like, ugh.
Though I do appreciate in that sort of montage scene, it's like, oh, Robin Williams didn't shave for a couple of days. That's neat.
Yeah.
He's just got a full-on beard.
Just full on.
Yeah.
And then one morning, the thing that made me laugh was like not even really related to the movie. Is like it's the morning and just both parents are basically fully covered up by a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And it just had me thinking of, you know, every so often you see those shitty like comics online that's like, your child's just gonna see you as a phone because you're just glued to the phone all the time. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna think his parents look like a newspaper. Like, it's the same shit. It always happens.
Dad hate wife, father I cannot click the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jack has come down and he's like, I want to go to school. And they're like, yeah, right. Come on then.
They're like, sure.
Sure, cool.
The big triumphant orchestral movement.
Yeah.
I know the last sequence we were in about this, we said no, but now we're saying yes.
Now we're saying yes because we see that you are sad and people like you.
And the other kids actually do like you. And also you seem to have gotten over the existential crisis that is your own oncoming doom.
And also, I hate answering this doorbell.
Yeah, please stop. And actually, we kind of enjoyed it when you weren't here.
Not saying why, because kids' movie.
Look,
out.
To be fair, if I was them two, I'd never have another kid again.
No, which is a surprise that they do at the end.
Yeah, I didn't even fucking risk it. I'd be like,
No.
nah, we can adopt from now on.
Well, maybe they do.
Maybe. I wouldn't even fucking risk it.
But the kids are all excited that Jack's back, and Louis has been doing his presentation, saying that he doesn't know what he wants to be when he grows up, but he just wants to be like Jack because everyone likes Jack, and Jack is nice.
And it's really sweet.
Like, he's a
it's
good
sweet
friend
again
that
for a
always
moment.
stands up for everything and does the right thing and also buys porno in front of nuns. But let's not talk about that part. Yeah, good friend.
Yeah. And then it's 7 years later, and they all the kids are like teenagers and graduating.
Technically, they're 17.
Yeah. And he's like 68.
Yeah.
He's an old man.
And he's given his speech.
Valedictorian speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, you know, if at this point I hadn't been watching this for an hour and 45 minutes and had really lost a lot of interest, I feel like I would have really appreciated it.
Yeah.
But this movie is, like, long.
Which is weird given how quick everything else goes. Like, his
Exactly.
life and anytime we see the sky.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
weird to me. Just like anytime you look up at the sky, clouds are flying by,
Yeah.
suns are orbiting the Earth like every 20 seconds.
Yeah, maybe it's to show, just how fast he's aging, which is too fast.
Thematic.
Yeah. But yeah, the parents have had a baby girl too, which, that must be what they did when he was at the house for a bit. And that's it. That's the movie, and we've managed to wrap it up surprisingly quickly considering how long it is.
This film is. I feel like people don't know this film is like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And it
Like-
doesn't need to be.
No. Like, you expect a, tight 90, funny Robin Williams movie, and instead you get depression.
Which, I mean, knowing what we know now, is unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, this film is okay. Not this film cast Robin Williams really well because again, this film is really well made. It's just paced fucking strangely, and like it has weird scenes in it. But over the whole, it's like it's a well made film, and I like that it's one of Coppola's favorite films that he's made. I find that very funny. He's like everyone. I read a little thing, and he was like everyone hated it. He doesn't understand why everyone hates it. He thinks it's like really nice and heartfelt.
Yeah, he loves it.
Nominated for the 1996 Bad Movie of the Year for Worst Picture, but lost to Striptease.
See, you haven't even heard of that one. I've heard of.
I hadn't either, but doesn't look good.
I
Didn't even have stars.
I can imagine it was worse than Jack.
Yeah, it must have been bad.
But yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
like it goes for the wrong energy at the wrong times, I think. It's like
Yeah.
you either go for the melancholy depression or the childlike shenanigans, but they always feel like a beat out of step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this film is split in two halves. First half is childlike wonder shenanigans. The second half is existential depression. And they don't blend into each other, they just sort of happen. I don't know, this film's a difficult watch, but not because of the film's content. It's because of how it's paced and how it's put together. It's just so dull.
It's
in
like
bits.
if you separated every other scene, you'd have a kids movie and a drama, and you wouldn't need to do basically any other editing. It's just literally every second scene, take it out, and you're all good.
Yeah, you've got two movies, yeah. I can honestly see why you have more memories of where you were watching this than the actual movie. Because I feel like if I'd seen this as a kid, I would also not remember it.
There were also more extenuating circumstances that aren't really relevantly worth going into. But yeah, no, I guess that's the movie, and that's the discussion about said movie.
Yeah, there's really not much more I can think to talk about with this.
Yeah.
Like-
Like, considering this film is 2 hours long.
Hmm.
Because I like the drama bits, and I like the emotional bits, and I like the very serious look at a archetypal kids film. I loved that, but I'm weird. I like weird dramatic kids films.
Yeah, I feel like if I'd gone into this knowing it was going to be more like this, I might have enjoyed it a bit more as well.
Yeah, I think that
my own expectations definitely kind of
No,
dampened it a bit.
I think they were misplaced. I think they were, as Elle said, they're put in the wrong place. They're like,
which I guess I should have asked as well. It's like, had either of you heard of this movie, let alone watched it before?
I'd heard of it. I think I'd seen a trailer. You know, in old videotapes that they'd have the trailer at the beginning.
Oh
Common
yeah,
attractions.
the ones that when you see them, you're like, how the fuck is that movie 10 years old? I remember when that was coming out. Oh my god! And then you have your own existential crisis.
Yeah.
How dare time?
How dare time-
Pretty much.
It goes 4 times faster than you expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd seen the trailer for it, but again, I think the trailer was all the fun kid bits and not the existential crisis.
Just loads of people taking their kids to watch this, and then they're just like, oh.
Well, this was very different. The cinema was very small.
Yeah, God, can you believe the cereal they had on offer? Ugh. It was
So
a promotional
hang on.
version of Nutri-Grain, by the way.
I was going to say, do you have cereal in the cinema? That is weird.
No, because it was like a family holiday, we didn't have food, so we did like the little. Oh, we're only going to be here for a week. Let's do a shopping run.
Ah,
And
yeah.
in the weird, not a supermarket, but really wanting to be shop, they had, oh, here's this limited edition version of a weird cereal to begin with.
Like oh, what are them? Like Graham somethings or whatever. I don't know.
Graham crackers, or
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know.
cinnamon Grahams. That was a cereal. That was a weird one when I was a kid.
I mean, it's better sounding than like Cookie Crisp from America, which is literally just, here are mini chocolate chip cookies, pour milk on them.
Oh yeah,
They were great. Cookie Crisp were great. They got
Those and-
worse when you put milk on them. It was
yeah.
the only
Those and
cereal.
golden nuggets. Do you know what else gets worse when you put milk on them? Is Frosties. Frosties are great dry.
Yeah,
Like,
golden nuggets were horrible because they somehow get really slimy.
yeah, just become mush.
I don't know how well this comes across, but I know that I have weird food opinions even for Australia. It's like, I will get Australians mad at me for my opinions on breakfasts. It's like, I think it's Weetabix that you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dry with Vegemite.
I know.
I have heard some people do
I
that before. But...
I have the worst. No, what are they called in Australia?
Just Weet-Bix.
Are they wheat? Okay, it's not Australia. One place has I can't remember which one it is, but one place has a really strange name for them. I think it's Canada or the US.
Canada is a strange name for a cereal.
Yeah, it is. No, so I have the worst way. I know the worst way anyone has ever eaten Weetabix. I went to a friend's house. The friend had his whole family, not just him, his whole family had dry Weet-Bix with like a knife of butter on it. They just like spread a lump of butter across the top. Ice cold, solid butter. And then they just eat that. That was what they had.
That just reminds me, have you heard of the way my mum likes her tea? Because I know
No.
this is a contentious issue amongst the British.
Yeah, kinda. Well, it depends how heinous it is.
You get a coffee mug sized full of skim milk.
No. We stop there.
And then you microwave it.
Okay.
And then you put a tea bag in it.
Okay. Like,
Tea done.
You somehow made tea a latte.
What kind of tea?
Funnily enough, English breakfast.
No.
Also, skimmed milk is just like water pretending to be milk.
Yeah, it's water with sugar in it. That's all it is.
Yep. But yeah, you nuke that for a minute and dunk a tea bag in it, and that's the way she likes it.
Because you can eat that's the way you're meant to drink chai tea, not with skimmed milk, but that's like how you drink chai is you have it in milk. That's horrible. And I'm not saying that as a British person. I'm saying that as someone with taste buds.
Yeah.
I have literally had someone in London tell me, if you weren't already in Australia, I would sentence you to exile.
That's so bad.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's not bad. It's very strange. How do you realise that's how you like tea? Like, what happened?
The series of events in your life that get you to this point.
Yeah.
Like, kettle's broken. Guess we'll microwave it. Oh, I've run out of water. So, we've got some skim milk left. That's basically water.
I haven't got long to leave the tea to stoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I better heat the. Well, you got to heat the milk up first. How long she leave the tea bag in? That's an important question.
The whole
What was
time.
that, sorry?
How long she leave the tea bag in?
Yeah, until she was finished.
Oh, she'd drink it with the tea bag in it.
So it somehow gets stronger as you drink.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's no longer a bad thing. That's a innovation, if anything.
Yeah, by the end it
crosses
probably
that
tastes
line
like
of
tea.
like it crosses that divide of good bad to just what?
Yeah, that's like maybe good. I imagine drinking it because you get the caffeine from like the small amount of caffeine from the tea, but it's fighting against the natural relaxing ability of hot milk. But then I guess by the end you've got more caffeine. That's such an interesting way to... I might make tea like that at some point.
Yeah, that's going to be a little video that we'll put up, is we're going to try tea like that.
Yeah, we might.
And then have the worst time. I mean, I guess going back to the movie.
Oh shit, that's right. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, how many fucked up ways to make tea out of 10 would you give this? Because, honestly, I was going to go for like a 3. But that's 3 times faster I wish this movie went when I was watching it. Like, it had some good bits. Like, yeah, like you said, there's probably like 2 separate good movies in here, but together it's just not what I expected, and I didn't really enjoy it too much.
I think I will go 3 as well, but 3 uncomfortably timed heart attacks.
I don't think there's ever a good time.
Well, it's like action movies. No one's ever the right age for this shit. They're always too old.
That's true.
Like, you get flung out of a building, break into a car, and just go, oh my god, I'm exactly the right age for this.
Wow, I'm so glad I'm 3 years from retirement. And not 2 days away.
God, you never hear anyone go, God, I'm far too young for this. That'd be great. I'm far too inexperienced to deal with this situation. Some new guy on the force. Damn, I wish I was more experienced.
Damn, you're by the book. You get to keep your badge.
Well, turns out it doesn't go all the way to the top. It just kind of stops here. There's just one bad dude.
Wow, it turns out the problem is pretty small.
You're a real tight cannon, Megoro.
Oh man, just the blandest police movie ever. The blandest detection film ever.
Officer John files his police reports.
That's the second half of it's a 90-minute film. The first 15 minutes is the catching the guy. The rest
turns out he's just round the corner.
Yeah, the rest is the paperwork. They looked at the CCTV. He was on the camera. He looked dead at the camera. They caught him pretty quickly. They just had to do a lot of paperwork. And it wasn't like dramatically bad. It was just fucking boring. I think 3. Sorry, I think 3 children that grow too fast. 3 medical anomalies.
I think if anything, I should be apologizing to you. It's like the other ones. It's like, yeah, I knew they would suck, but I still liked them, even if you guys didn't.
It's an odd movie. Like, I don't even know if I'd recommend it to people. Like, yeah, I can see why it's one that I'd not really heard of before.
Yeah. I know what my 3 is. It's 3 Godfathers.
Wow, so that sounds like someone should make a movie about that.
Yeah. You make 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's not go.
Turns out they get caught within the first 15 minutes.
The rest is just policemen doing paperwork.
Tear down the mob from the outside.
You know how like every now and then say that every film a director made is based in is all set in the same universe. Jack is in the same universe as The Godfather, and I don't know why that's so funny to me.
But they're in like Chicago or something, or New York.
Oh, it's completely different parts of the world, but
yeah, because this is San Francisco, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be in papers everywhere forever. He'd be studied way more.
Yeah, he would have a lot of people wondering how they could use that to their advantage, I imagine.
Yeah. Why?
Like, you know, growing animals faster for food.
Right. He'd be
just
looked
general.
at.
Yeah. Like, there'd be so many wider implications of, let's see why this person ages 4 times faster than normal. Instead, we just get a sad movie.
Can we develop that into chemical warfare for our enemies? You have the aging bomb.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
Oh no! Now we will defeat them 4 times faster because they will just die eventually. Oh no!
Yeah, aging 4 times faster isn't exactly bad. isn't exactly an immediate war winner.
No.
You gotta wait time.
But can you get it to work on weapons?
What do you mean? As in, like, they age 4 times faster?
Yeah, you have to do 4 times the maintenance.
I don't think. I imagine you can't, because they aren't organic.
No,
They're
I've got
not
the best
organic
one.
yet.
You're gonna make
Right.
them organic first and then age them faster.
Organic weapons, no. Best thing this is used for, wine scams. Bam, sorted.
Oh yeah, just in the food industry would
Yeah.
be the best use of aging 4 times. The cheese
Cheese.
industry would go mad.
Yeah. Cheese and wine, boom.
Oh man,
Well, I know how I'm using this to my advantage if it ever comes up.
I know what we're doing for the Patreon.
Well, I guess to get to that point, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Al.
Elle, where can people find you?
Thankfully, not on Twitter anymore, because to hell with that. You can find me on the Check This Out podcast, where good or mediocre podcasts are found. And you can get in contact with me on checkthisout@mastodon.art.
Well, you can find this podcast on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. You can come and chat to us. Let us know what would you use, like, 4 times aging to benefit. And yeah, we also have a Patreon, so you can support the show. We've got a few bonus episodes out there. Some more story tapes. Some of AI Loved That Movie, which is where we get AI to try and write better sequels to movies, and it doesn't. But yeah, what special thing are we doing for the Patreon this week?
We're gonna open Hey, I Loved That Winery and Cheesemongers.
Nice.
We're gonna
Roll
use.
tongue.
Yeah, it's got that pause in it as well.
We're gonna have a posh French restaurant.
Yeah, where we use the science from Jack to force age wine and cheeses.
Nice. I'm also gonna make fast raisins.
Dried fruit in an instant.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you put that money forward, we'll work out the technology, but it's mainly about opening the winery and cheesemongers.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's what it's called. If there are places you can buy just wine and cheese.
I think most of the money has got to go to where you're doing the signage and it has the ellipses.
Yeah, we spend a lot of money on small circles. It's going to be an elaborate signage, so...
Yeah, I mean, I assume the aging goes for pretty cheap, because who would want it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
We
like
just need
this
to-
movie. Who would want it?
We just need to find a jack.
I mean, car boots.